Hey everyone, welcome back. Thanks for being here today. What I want to show you is how I keep my pantry stocked. So I always have healthy ingredients on hand to be able to make Ruby's pill treats. So stick around and I will show you what's in my pantry. So if you've watched any of my previous videos, you've seen how I make a healthy homemade pill treat for Ruby. I've been doing this now for a number of years and I've put together a bunch of recipes. This just was a different option that I decided to use instead of buying the store-bought pill treats. I questioned a lot of the ingredients that were in those, as well as they were very expensive. So I went down the path of developing my own recipes to be able to make my own pill treats for her at home. They're no bake, they're soft, they're super easy to work with, and Ruby loves them. So I'm sure your dog would too. These are the batch that I made yesterday. These are the banana pill treats. So to be able to rotate through different options of the pill treats, I just keep a number of the different products on hand. So whenever I need to whip up another batch, not only are they super easy to make, but I always have at least some of the ingredients on hand to be able to create. So if you're interested in that, having some different ideas, check out my other videos of the pill treats. And then also in the description box, I will link to the homemade pill treat book that you can get there if you would like. So first to start, I always begin with making sure that I have enough flour and the different flours that I use for the pill treats here at home. So I definitely stock up on some of the different flours. I have been buying the Bob's Red Mill brand. I really like it. So one of the main flours that you will see in a lot of my recipes is the oat flour. The one that I buy is a gluten-free one. Not only is it nice to have this on hand, and a lot of the other flours that I'm going to show you is I use them for her pill treat, as well as I use them in a lot of my own baking. I have moved away from using a lot of white flour just because I happen to have these on hand and I replace it and it works just as well and is a little bit healthier. So the Bob's Red Mill oat flour is always a staple. The Bob's Red Mill brown rice flour is one that I use in a lot of her pill treat recipes as well. And the cool thing about these flours is you can interchange them. So if you are looking at, if it was one of my videos showing you how to make one of the recipes and it called for brown rice flour, but you don't have it, but you have oat flour, then you use oat flour. You can interchange them. So it doesn't have to be what I've listed in the actual recipe. So the brown rice flour is also another great option. And finally, I typically have the, again, same brand, but the coconut flour on hand. And so there are some of her recipes that I do make with the coconut flour. The interesting thing about coconut flour is it really it absorbs a lot of moisture. So if you are using it in place of one of the other flours for my recipes, just know that there's a good chance you're gonna have to add more liquid to that recipe just because it does absorb so much more. So just something to keep in mind, but coconut flour is also a great option to use in the pill treat recipe. So these are the most common flours I use. You can use other flours, but these are probably the three that I use the most often. So next would be a very common ingredient in all of my recipes. It's also a really good ingredient for your EpiDog is gelatin. So when I say gelatin, I mean an unflavored, usually it's a beef gelatin or a pork gelatin, or it will say clearly it's an unflavored gelatin. So please don't get it mixed up with like a Jello gelatin or a dessert flavored, a sweetened gelatin. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about just an unflavored, often I go with the beef gelatin powder. And so what this is it's a protein that's being added. I'm gonna do a video all about gelatin and the benefits for your epi dog, but even if you don't have an epi dog, a dog with epilepsy, all of these ingredients are healthy ingredients, and I would argue healthier than a lot of the store-bought treats that you can buy, and what is being put in there. So beef gelatin, what it really does is it just dissolves. It doesn't add any sort of flavoring to the treat, but it creates the consistency and the ability for the dough to stay together. So that's why I've added it to all of my pill treat recipes, because gelatin is a really good supplement for also epi dogs. Sometimes I'll put a little bit of water or broth over her kibble or her food, and I'll sprinkle a little gelatin there. So gelatin is always something that I have in the house. Right now, these are the two brands that I've been purchasing. I do want to explore. I'm sure there's lots of other good, unflavored gelatins out there. So it's something in the future I'm gonna purchase some other ones and try them out, and I can report back on them. But for right now, I have been using the Great Lakes gelatin and the Now Real Foods gelatin. So these are definitely two products that I would recommend. This is not a sponsored video. These are the products that I use on a daily basis, and I am very picky about what I give Ruby, and so anything that is here is something that I have found to be high quality. Between these two, I would say they both work just as well. The Now Real Food brand is less expensive than the Great Lakes brand, so that is something to keep in mind too, is sometimes some of these additional things can add up, and so this is the more economical purchase. The gelatins are the one thing that when I've been in just regular grocery stores, I've been able to find the flours typically no problem, and all of the other products that I'm going to show you. The gelatins are the one things that I've had a little bit more trouble finding just in a regular grocery store. Sometimes your specialty health stores will of course have them, but so I have had more luck ordering these online on Amazon than actually buying within the store. So just wanted to share my picks for gelatin at this time. And as I find other brands that I really like, I will definitely share those with you as well. Okay, so after the gelatins, we need to have some sort of liquid that is going into the pill treat recipe that is going to help the gelatin dissolve and really keep that pill tree together. So what I use is, and I often will just have a number of these on hand, is the non-dairy milk. So right now I have the almond milk, coconut milk blend, or I'll get almond milk. Here I have the coconut milk. I will often buy the oat milk as well. When it comes to this, I don't have specific brands that are better than other ones. So I typically just buy either what's on sale or what's available. Another option though, to always keep in mind, is you can just use water. You don't have to use specific non-dairy milk. You can use regular milk too. If your dog can handle dairy just fine, that can be a great option as well. But I always like to remind owners that it doesn't have to be actually another product that's being added. You could use water itself. And so that's also a great way to cut back on calories if you have a dog that needs to maybe lose a little bit of weight or you've run out. So just remember, water is always your backup. If I'm not using one of the non-dairy milks, instead what I'm using for a liquid is broths. And so I often will watch for these. If you are like me, it's after Thanksgiving, after Christmas, and so there's a lot of great sales right now in the grocery store. So I'm always kind of just watching and keeping an eye out for when I see these types of products go on sale. So whenever I am buying some sort of broth to use in Ruby's pill treat, I'm always looking for preferably a low sodium broth. And so here I have a bone broth. This is just low sodium chicken broth. You can use a beef broth. Sometimes I'll buy these littler containers just so if I'm using something like this, it's usually because I'm also, if I open it for the pill treat, I am also going to be making soup or making some sort of recipe that calls for it, so it doesn't go to waste. Otherwise, these little tiny containers come in handy too, if you're just going to be using a little bit at a time, because the recipes really don't call for very much. One of my little hacks so it doesn't go to waste is right now I have the bone broth is open, and I use this with one of her pill treat recipes. And so not only did I use it, but sometimes I'll take a little bit and I'll just pour it over her kibble just to add a little bit extra. And we know that bone broth is just really good for dogs in general. So that's it for the different liquids that I typically purchase and keep on hand to be able to make the different pill treats. You can also buy these broths in cans, which can be a good option for storage as well. Okay, the next part is the fun part. So what I've shown you so far, if you just had those ingredients, you could make a pill treat just out of those. But if we want to have a little bit more fun and we want to make our dogs really, really happy, the next part and the ingredients that I keep on hand are the mix-ins that I use to create the different flavors for the pill treats. So probably one of the most popular common ones is having peanut butter. I do keep some of the other nut butters as well, like almond butter or cashew butter, sunflower butter. So there's different options that you can use besides having the peanut butter in the pill treat. Baby food has become one of my hacks for the pill treats, in that I can create so many different flavors. I don't have to do any of the mashing or pureeing to get that particular fruit or vegetable to be able to add to the pill treat. So baby food has been a great one, especially for, I have a couple of my recipes in the book are meat flavor recipes, and so for sure I don't want to have to do the work for chicken, turkey, and beef. So baby food has been really, really great to add some different flavors. Each time I make a batch of pill treats, I can make a different flavor for her, and it really keeps her excited about taking her meds. Cans of pumpkin, just like the broths right now after the holidays, they're just trying to get rid of them, so they're on sale. So I feel like every time I'm going to the grocery store now, I pick up a can because it's on sale, and I can just put it in my cupboard. They last for a while, and so this is also a great addition as far as a mix-in that I pretty much always have in my pantry. To add some healthy fats, you can stir in coconut oil. Coconut oil also can be used if you don't want to use as much peanut butter as I have in some of the peanut butter recipes. You can cut it in half and add coconut oil for the other half of that amount for a little healthier version. And I think that is pretty much it. So these are all of the products that when I think about my pantry and what I make sure that I have on hand for Ruby, just so I can always make a healthy pill treat for her, and I don't ever have to, again, rely on store-bought pill treats or store-bought treats in general. I know that I can make something very quickly at home for her that she's gonna love, that's gonna be something I feel good about giving her, because I know it's healthy, it's nutrient dense, healthy ingredients that are going in. It's very few ingredients, often 4 ingredients or less, that it takes to make the different pill treats. And when I say pill treats, honestly, you can use them to they're soft, so it's very easy to put a pill in and then cover that pill up with the dough to give your dog. Plus, it's a great just regular treat to make for them if you do give your dog treats. So even if your dog doesn't take medication, or if you have another dog in your home, one is an epi dog taking meds and the other one doesn't, you can easily give your dog the pill treat with the pill in it, and then your other dog just a regular treat without the medication in it. Just make sure not to accidentally switch those up. But so that is the top 10 things that I keep in my pantry to make sure that I always have a healthy pill treat that I can make for Ruby whenever. Thanks for being here today. This is what I am just continuing to work on and learn about. Having an epi dog is definitely an adventure. So I'm glad you're here with me, and I hope you come back to continue to learn with me as I learn with Ruby. Have a good day.